Welcome back. When we last spoke, we alluded to the fact that we're going to be dealing with this very difficult year, and the fatigue that's kicking in the last stretch of 2020 is here. Very difficult year, facing obviously a global pandemic, with New Year fast approaching and so many big questions. Many of us are feeling the end of year fatigue, COVID fatigue even you can call it. Taking care of ourselves emotionally, mentally and physically has never been more important than ever than right now, and by not taking care of the stresses that are causing our exhaustion can eventually lead to burnout and other mental and other physical health problems, and quite serious ones. Don't under or discount that. This morning we are joined by clinical psychologist Amy Glover, who we welcome back, who's going to give us some insights into beating the end of year fatigue. Woo, I'm trying to motivate myself even as I say it, because we are tired.
Yeah.
Amy, we are tired, man. And it's difficult to draw a line to know what has made us exhausted, because normally by this time of the year we would be tired anyway. It's the silly season for a reason. For the last few weeks of work, trying to wrap everything up, and now layer over that this insane year that we've had. But maybe a good place to start will be with an actual definition of fatigue, so we can classify it.
Yeah. So to define fatigue, it's essentially extreme tiredness, you know. So it includes things like apathy, low motivation, low energy. But fatigue is not just being tired on one day, it's more of a prolonged thing. So yeah, it's extreme tiredness in essence. Bone-numbing
tiredness. I keep using that term because it does feel, it's deep. It's like right in it doesn't matter how much sleep you get.
Exactly.
I think the complexity of life seems to add to that, and this has been probably one of the most complex years that we've had. Is it a normal thing to feel this fatigue at this time of the year? Take away what we've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a completely normal response. I mean, if we consider, you know, just how much strain we've all been under in this year. I mean, 2020 has taken a toll, but normally towards the end of the year we do feel this type of tiredness. You know, it is about the strain that we've been under. But I do think it's normal, and you know, that makes sense in the context.
What are the actual causes? I mean, it's great to paint it with one big brush, but what are the things that are triggering this and kind of getting us to this point of beyond being just tired and now being proper fatigued?
Yeah, there's a number of causes, and I think fatigue is one of those symptoms that you can see as a result of a number of things. So you need to rule some things out at times. So some of the causes of fatigue can be medical reasons, can be physical reasons, like physical exertion. So if you've been, you know, exerting yourself quite a lot, emotional strain. So if things really have been taking a toll on you, and you know, fatigue as a symptom on its own is often something that brings one to a doctor or brings one to a psychologist. So it's important to unpack the different causes behind it, because it can be a number of things.
So you can start addressing it, so you can kind of put some balance back in your life in that sense. What are some of the warning signs that we need to be looking out for? Because I think by this stage we're kind of in robotic mode. We're just going and pushing through it, but we do need to take cognizance of where we are so we can address it. What are some of the warning signs?
So I think some of the main signs maybe of fatigue and burnout would be like irritability, right? Right, I think we can all relate at the moment. You know, some sort of like boredom, like a lack of interest or motivation. Exactly, yeah, that tiredness and boredom is part of the main things. And like we were saying, you know, fatigue is a feature in burnout, so it's actually something that you will see within the context of burnout.
So we as a team have had to be tested regularly for COVID-19 as part of our working process here. I've been convinced almost every time that I've had it. I've had these ghost symptoms because I've been tired, because, you know, and suddenly I'm like, I can't taste anything. Do you think there is a danger of confusing now, because everyone is feeling this fear, especially now entering into the second wave, of confusing the symptoms of COVID with other symptoms of just our chronic fatigue?
Yeah, that's a good point, you know, because fatigue, as far as I'm aware, is also a symptom that you can see in the context of COVID, right? So, you know, it is something that one does need to tease out with a medical professional, or, you know, depending on the type of care that you might need. So I think that it is something we can confuse, but it's important to just work with a professional with regards to that.
If this conversation has exhausted you right now, it's probably because you are suffering from a form of fatigue. There are emotional levels to it. There is a very physical component to it as well, and certainly a mental component this time of the year. All perfectly understandable, but let's see what we can do to address it. Amy's going to stick around. We're going to continue this discussion. Maybe you've got some great advice for us on how you are coping with the year-end madness. Share some of your thoughts with us on our Expresso Facebook page, and we'll hopefully get to some of those in just a moment.